Yeah.
Oh,
Hello.
there we go.
Yes. How are you?
I'm pretty good today.
Good, good. I have Polly Cady here, who is a expert handwriting analysis, and this is new to the channel. So we're going to ask her a few questions. Um,
I'm trying to get it so I can see the board
no
so you
worries.
guys can see it too. There you go.
There we go. So I do have a couple questions. I guess my first question to you would be, what got you into handwriting?
Well, it's a really strange story because I used to be a decorator. Okay. And so I did a lot of window coverings and I did drapes and I did upholstery and all that. And I was sitting outside on one of my little benches, and this lady walked by and said, "You want your handwriting done?" And I went, "Sure." So I did my handwriting, and she said, "You need to become a handwriting analyst." And I said, "Really? That's the strangest thing I've ever heard." And though, I used to go to Catholic school. And so I was there for 8 years, and my handwriting was pretty good. And I thought, well, maybe she just wants me to learn it or whatever, because I thought it was kind of cool, all the different avenues that the handwriting is about. And I said, no, I'm not interested. And she said, okay. So for about a year, she bugged me. She sent over her sister. She sent over all of her friends. She sent me packets. And I thought, she said it was tax deductible. I said, oh, what the heck? So I took it. And within a year, I closed down my business and went full time into handwriting
Wow. Wow.
because it was so cool.
Wow. So now with the handwriting, how long did it take you to switch the careers?
Oh, it didn't take me too long. I mean, I had taken the class from her and was just so thrilled with the idea that every single letter has anywhere from 50 to 500 different meanings. And I thought, well, this is kind of, it's like, wow, that's going to take a lot of work, but it didn't. It's
Yeah.
like I just kind of got into it. And then she threw me into a party in Denver, Colorado called the People's Fair, which is
Okay.
about 40,000 people. And she had me do every psychopath she could get her hands on.
Wow. Wow.
Just so just so I could figure out how to deal with them.
Wow. So now since you've been doing handwriting, what have you learned is entailed in the handwriting in itself behind?
Well, I have learned that I can tell everything in your life except the color of your underwear. Now I can tell
Wow.
I can tell if it's fancy, but I can't tell what color.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Wow.
So the
Wow.
things I can see are diseases,
Wow.
when a baby is conceived, and
Wow.
about when it's going to be born, if it's having any trouble. I can see psychopaths, sociopaths, schizophrenics, and not everybody is one. And they say, "Oh, you're going to tell me I'm a schizo." I go, "No, probably not."
Yeah.
Or they'll say, "My handwriting looks so terrible that you can't even read it." And I go, I'm not reading it. I'm reading the letters." Okay.
Okay.
And each one of the letters tells me what you think about you
Wow.
and what you've gone through. And I can tell if you've had abuse when you were little. I can tell if, you don't like uh, learning in a school situation. Um, there's really not much I can't tell. I
Wow.
can even see gunshot wounds, stabbings,
Oh my
broken
goodness.
bones.
Wow. So while you have been studying handwriting, how many people have turned down their handwriting? I mean, because handwriting is public. I'm pretty sure that it's a public
Very much so. Yeah, they don't. I only had one man say that I would never be able to get his handwriting.
Oh.
So then I took body language.
Ah.
And
Smart,
then
smart lady.
and then what I did was I read him, and the funny thing about it is I already had a little bit of his handwriting.
Okay.
And he lived in a penthouse in Denver at the Brown Palace Hotel. And I told him, I said, well, you know, what's really funny about you is that you happen to run around naked in your penthouse while nobody's around. And he said, you must be talking to people. I go, no, I saw it in your handwriting. Well, where'd you get my handwriting? I said, your girlfriend gave it to me.
Wow. Wow. So now, are you saying that by somebody's handwriting, is there ways to, since you can tell everything about their life, is there ways to, if they're a psychopath or if they're
Right.
jealous or if they're,
Right.
yes, so you can help them change?
Um, the only person I can't change is a psychopath or a sociopath. Honey, they don't have any conscience. They don't have anything inside, you might say, to form even the thought of love. What they do is they follow you. Like they'll get next to you
Yeah.
and they'll scan you and they'll say, well, I'll act like her, she'll like me, and then she'll follow me wherever and she'll think I'm really wonderful.
Wow.
And just like Bundy, they thought he was absolutely a wonderful guy, and he wasn't.
Yeah, he was
He
very
was a serial
charming.
killer. And there's a lot of them out there like that. But um, they usually, it's kind of funny. I mean, I have a couple girlfriends that are married to psychopaths. And I've told them, the guy
Wow.
is a psychopath. And I said he could break at any time and he could kill you. And they said, oh, but we love him. He's so kind and gentle, so religious, and so everything. And I said, no, he's doing exactly what you're doing.
Wow.
That makes you happy. And so you think that you're in love. You're really in love with you. You're not in love with him.
Wow. 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 That's ooh. So now, is there certain ways that you would write an A or a B or a C where you can tell
Excuse me, I got to get this thing situated. There we
no
go. Maybe
worries.
that works. Um, yeah, there is in the A's, I can tell if you like to speak, if you like to, you can see my A right here.
Yeah.
And now this is all in cursive.
Yeah.
Now, whether it's in cursive or whether it's in printing, it's still mind writing. Okay.
Okay. Because it comes
So
from your
no matter
mind.
what, it still comes from the back of your head, down your arm, into your communication tool, whichever that may be. Even a paintbrush is a communication tool, because I can even look at a picture and tell you if they're still in their past or they're still in their future, or if they're, spiritual, or if they're hiding something.
Wow.
This lady came to me one time and she signed her name at the bottom of it. And I said, you do not want to sign your name like that. And she said, oh, yes, I do, because I've done it for years and I'm going to do it now. And I said, okay. She said, what is it? I said, I can't tell you. Yes, you can. Everybody knows me and they understand me, and you can go ahead and say it. And I go, okay. I said, you're a thief. And
Wow.
she went, what do you mean by that? And I said, you steal people's time. You steal from people. You steal all the time. So
Um,
you also must have lying in your handwriting, because all liars are either cheats and they do steal. Sometimes they steal just because they think you owe it to them,
wow. She didn't
that
say
kind
that
of
very
stuff.
well.
So she changed it. She was reluctant and she was nasty about it,
But
but
she
she
changed.
said she would change it. And
Wow.
I said, and that'll help you get over it.
Wow. So I guess I have another question. Where did handwriting come from? Like where, because
Okay.
in every school.
Way back in the beginning of time. I mean, think about it. You have pictographs. You have all this stuff on the walls of caves and pyramids and all that. That's the beginning of time. That's when it all started. And then as it came down, the churches decided to study it and find out that every stroke of your handwriting means something. And it's fascinating. You see my T
Hmm.
right there?
Yeah.
It's crossed at the top.
Yeah. I remember in school we used to, because they taught us cursive,
Right.
you cross in the middle.
Yes. And if you were to look at that and you were to ask yourself, what other sign does that T look like when it's crossed in the middle? It's religion. It's a cross.
Wow. Wow.
And so I studied handwriting and I studied all the books and I studied everything. And I took 6 classes from this lady that was the top graphologist in the United States that worked for the federal government. And she told me that if you cross your T at the top, you can get out of fear. Well, now I was scared to death to fly in an airplane. Oh man, you couldn't get me in an airplane.
Yeah.
Well, she said, if you'll do the T's crossed at the top, you'll get over that fear and you'll be able to fly. Well, that happened because my ex-husband put me in a car and then took me to an airplane and we flew to Las Vegas. And I thought, well, this isn't so bad. And then I got into handwriting and I flew across practically across the world to different areas and in the United States, Canada, you know, you name it, I've been there. And so I got over the fear of flying.
Wow.
Now I don't want to fly anymore because of the craziness that's going on this planet, but
Yeah.
if I have to, it'll be okay.
Wow. I think it's interesting that you say that it started with the churches because
Yeah.
churches are
Oh,
behind so much indoctrination and so much control since the beginning.
yep. And then I read a book that said that Hitler was in control of the handwriting. And when the handwriting goes straight up and down, just like this,
Yeah.
then they could do the gooseneck walk,
Oh,
because they were restricted.
restricted.
Restricted handwriting causes you to do what they ask you
Ask
to
you to
do.
do, which brings
Kind
the
of
school
like
system in.
printing, my dear. In
Oh,
1973, they told me they were going to get rid of handwriting. And I said, well, what for? And they said, to get you prepared for the computer and to get you prepared for the next world that's coming. And I thought, they're taking it away because they know that handwriting in the first place is a mind control system.
yeah.
If they can create these letters in a certain way, they
Do
can get you to do anything
anything.
because it's mind control. It starts from the mind, it works on the body.
Wow. Uh,
And so, and even your eyes, when you dot your eyes, it helps you with memory.
Look at that. Now, is there significance against the I when it's capitalized? Is there a significance with that?
Oh, you betcha. Just a second, and I'll erase this and I'll show you.
Okay. Okay.
All right. I'm going to put on here 2 different eyes, okay?
Okay. Can you let me see if you can come down a little bit. Let me see.
Okay, let's see if we can get this thing
There we go.
done. Let's see if we can get it to work. Okay, so I went from here. Okay, I'm going to do a couple eyes for you.
Okay.
Okay, they taught a lot of us in school to go like this, and we start here.
Yeah.
And then when we print, we go like this or like this.
Oh, if you come down a little bit. Yes. Yes.
Okay, there's no top or no bottom to it. on this one right here.
Yeah. So is that
And,
the walk, gentler walk?
well, here, hold on a minute. I'm going to see if I can get this thing to work right.
Okay.
Okay. Because it's just not working the way I want it to work. There. There. Now we got it.
There we go. Thank you.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right. So when you're looking at a cursive eye
Hmm.
and you start at the bottom and you go through the top and back this way, you know what it means? This is your mother.
Oh,
So
very
you're telling me
interesting.
all about how you get along with your mom. But it also helps because it's about females.
Oh,
Well, where do you think you got all the information about being a female from? Your mother.
mother.
So what do you think this is then? It is the dad and the males in your life. So if your dad taught you all about males, or he was kind of a, how would we say, interesting, okay, then you're going to look for that kind of a male in your life. So it could look like this. So no influence of the mother, no influence of the father, hardly.
Wow.
Now this one down here, we started in the middle. Well, this is the way the schools are trying to teach the kids now in cursive when they do teach it, and it's really a bad thing because we're getting away from the father,
And
we're
away from
getting
the
away from
mother.
the mother, we become independent. Okay,
Oh,
we become independent and we don't want nothing to do with them.
wow. Wow.
And then we literally give them, excuse the expression, hell. And when we're a teenager.
Yeah, yeah,
And then down here, this means that you are independent of both your mom and dad. That doesn't mean that you dislike them like you would here. It
yeah.
just means that you're independent and you can do it your way.
Oh
Okay.
man.
This one is really interesting. And I'm going to erase the top one so we don't get kind of confused here. Okay. And I'm kind of new at all this computer stuff, but I'm going to figure out how to write on the whiteboard on Zoom. Okay.
Oh, there you go.
But anyway, so this one is just a straight line. You will see that with most of the younger generation. That one where it's straight up and down.
Straight up and down.
Now, let's say that she's a cute little thing and her car broke down and she's got this in her handwriting and she's took the tire off of her car because she had a flat. Nobody is going to help her. Nobody. Why? There's no mom, because this is the mom here, and this is the dad, or this is the female, and this is the male. So there's nobody here to take care of who? Her.
Sure. Wow. Oh my goodness. Wow. And and they've taken cursive out of school.
Well, most of them have. Brigham Young University, the Mormons are starting to put it back into schools.
Okay.
And in Massachusetts, they put it back into schools. Because what they found is it's the only exercise for your brain.
Yeah.
And I'll show you.
And I remember being in school and having to, one of the lessons was writing the alphabet over and over and
Over and
over,
over.
over. Yeah.
And sometimes we absolutely hated that
Yeah.
practice.
Yeah.
But the thing
Yeah.
is that it helped with your mind.
Yeah.
Now, let's say the United States, I'd say the world today is extremely stressed out. That is bar none. They're buying into all this garbage that people are telling them. So I have an exercise for that. It's called push pulls. And you go up and down like this on a piece of paper or
Mhm.
with your finger, and it gets rid of headaches and anxiety and fear and anger and you name it.
Wow. That's
And it
amazing.
exercises the brain. It
Brain.
slows it down. It gives it a wonderful, wonderful feeling. all in just an up and down stroke. It's called let go, let go, let go, let go, let go.
Nice. That's that's amazing. Now I remember watching one of your interviews the other day, and I believe you said something that you would do an exercise 15 minutes before the shift started, or for about 15 minutes,
Yeah.
and
You want to see
halfway
it?
through the shift the girl would say they'd be walking around dead tired, and you'd have this burst of energy. Amazing.
Yeah, it works. I'll show it to you. Okay,
Sure.
ready? Okay,
Absolutely.
so remember, I told you to cross. The reason we cross the T's at the top is because it gives us high self esteem.
Okay.
It gets us out of fear. It really projects our charm to everybody, which all of us are very charming. We just don't believe it.
Yeah.
And so we have a T and we cross it. We have a T and we cross it. We have a T and we cross it. We do this 10 across, okay? And 5 lines down. All right. And it gives us anywhere from 8 to 10 hours of
Of
energy.
energy.
So don't do it after 2 o'clock or you'll be up till 2 o'clock.
Oh, wow. This is so interesting.
So
Wow.
you can do this in the morning. Now, see, I did it right after I got done with my decorating business. And then I went to work for another company as their decorator. And I didn't have much energy after a full day. So I would do this and then I'd have all this energy. Okay. And it was very interesting because they couldn't figure out how come it worked. Well, it's exercising the brain, telling you that you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this.
Yeah. Amazing.
And it shoots you. So this is your antidote up here.
Okay.
So if you did something like that and you stayed up till 2 o'clock, you could do the push pulls and it'll put you
To
to
get,
sleep.
but yeah, that's amazing. Here's the little guy. Here's the little
Oh,
guy. Yeah, he's a little
oh.
Yorkie teacup. You want to
I'll
say
tell you,
hi?
Yorkies are the best. My son's a
Yeah.
dog trainer.
Oh, he's so good. He's so
They
good.
are so sweet.
They really are. So I guess my next question would be to you is, since you've been doing the handwriting analysis, how many have you've been an expert witness in some cases? And how did that turn out for you? Were you
It
approached?
didn't. They threw me out of court. And
Wow.
the reason they threw me out of court was because I was conclusive. You know, they can't make any money off of me if I'm,
Right.
you know,
Even if the
but
person was guilty or not guilty, because you've been able to tell if somebody was guilty by their handwriting.
you better believe it. Or if they've stolen things, and I can either tell if it's a male or a female that did it.
Oh, wow. Without
So,
even seeing who they are.
right. Well, I don't have to see anybody.
Yeah, it's
You
just
know,
the
just like
handwriting.
you said, you're going to send me your handwriting.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
excited.
don't tell me anything about you. Just don't do it. And then I'll tell you.
I already know.
Okay.
I'm excited. I'm excited
And
for it.
it's so fun.
Yeah.
And I even do mine on a daily basis. I'll see something in my handwriting and I'll go, oh, no, you don't. You better change that. You
Wow.
know?
And there's a certain way to study the way people write.
Yeah, I teach it.
Wow. You have books. You've written books?
I have written a book. And the
Okay.
only reason I haven't written all the other ones is because I want you to believe in yourself, not believe, what everybody else has said that you should do for your life. So I
Right.
wrote a book and I took all the fancy stuff like this. I took all the fancy dancy stuff off.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't do these things anymore because that's you waving, going, hey, everybody, do you see me and see how wonderful I am? And I need attention. Well,
Right.
as far as I'm concerned, um, that's not a good thing. Why do you need attention when you take care of yourself
Yeah.
and you like yourself?
Yeah.
You know?
Now, do you
So
think Now with the handwriting, the reason why they've brought it into the schools and controlled everything, you said because it comes from our brain, our thought,
Yep,
the back of our brain. Now, it's evident it's been done to control us, to control the way we think, the way we do things, the way we feel about ourselves, um, which
yep,
goes with so much more that they've done in the world to control us with the churches and healthcare system and the workforce and the monetary system, entertainment, news.
right.
So what would you suggest for people to do now with their children in school?
Go back to handwriting. Handwritten stuff is the connection of each other. Haven't you noticed that when you do cursive, it connects?
Yeah,
And this is kind of like, okay, so this is your mom and your dad, and this is all your friends and everything, and you're connecting with them. And when you don't, it's just like this. You're disconnected. Haven't you noticed that most of
just
the
like the dotted
younger
I, right?
generation is disconnected?
Yeah, yeah, they're all on their phones, everything's texting, everything is
That's right. In fact, it'll be fun next week when I do an eighth and ninth grade class.
wow.
I am going in there and they said, well, could you do a PowerPoint? And I said, no, I am not doing a PowerPoint because I can't on the PowerPoint make you look at your paper and see that if it's really correct or not. Oh, you might do it. Most of the time you look at a PowerPoint like, oh yeah, that's the information I need to know. I don't need anything else. And so I said, no, I'm going to do it on a whiteboard. You got one. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it on a whiteboard. I'm going to hand out paper to everybody. And I'm going to see how many of them resist.
See,
Because remember, most of the teenagers today are mind controlled.
they are, they are. Now, how would you approach a child after they handed you their handwriting and you saw that they had issues on how to, that's real reluctant, that doesn't want the help? How would you approach something like that if they're abusing?
Well, usually their handwriting is going downhill. Anytime your handwriting goes downhill, you've got something going on in your life and you're very negative about it. So they probably have downhill handwriting. And that's the first thing I'll ask them. I said, does your handwriting go downhill? And they say, yeah, it does. Do you argue with your mom and dad? Well, yeah, it's like it's fun. You
Wow.
know, I like arguing with my mom and dad. I like these kind of things. And I'm
Wow.
thinking, really? So I
Wow.
said, how would you like to have a happier life, a happier everything? And they said, well, yeah, we would. And I said, then listen up. And I'm going to show you. Now, remember, as long as I make it about them,
Yeah.
it's all perfect.
Right.
And that's the new world today. It's all about me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they will listen to you as long as you're talking about them,
Yeah.
but they won't listen to you if you're talking about somebody else.
Yeah.
So, may I show a picture of my book so that you can kind of see it?
Yeah, absolutely. Please.
Okay.
Yes,
This
please
is
do.
called this is called the alphabet according, well, it's graphology and your hidden code, because really handwriting is a hidden code.
Yeah.
It's a code of who you are. It's a
Yeah.
code of how you can go about and do this. So it ends up being a workbook and an information book. And, I've had people say to me, I said, do you still have my book? Well, yeah, I wouldn't get rid of your book for nothing. You know where I have it? And I go, no. And they said, next to the toilet. Okay,
Quiet place.
that's a good place for it. At least they're reading it.
At least they're reading it, right?
Right.
So let me ask you this. Can you find your book on Amazon for people that are watching this and would like to? So would they have to reach out to you directly to get your book?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you willing to have people reach out to you through an email, or can I put it
Yeah,
in your comments, or would you like to even
just
say it
just
on
Polly
here?
Cady at AOL.
PollyCady@AOL.com to get a
Yeah,
copy
it's
of your book.
AOL is about as old as I am, so that's
Okay.
why I'm using it.
So I
It
guess
still works.
yeah, right. So that's good. I'm sure you'll have some people definitely reaching out to you. So I guess my next question to you would be, I was watching an interview that you did, I think it was a while ago. Uh, it, it was been quite some time, but you
Yeah, I had
mentioned
dark hair.
yeah, you mentioned something about Palmer method. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Well, Palmer was a penman. In other words, he was the one that for everybody else would write the letters, and he would draw the information to get out to the public, and he would do all that kind of stuff. It was just a penman. And they came by and they gave him the idea that if he taught a certain way of writing, that he could create things in society. And he certainly did. He certainly did. I was going to, yeah, I told you about Hitler. Hitler
Yeah.
used it. Hitler used handwriting a lot because he knew that it was mind control. And so I took,
Wow.
like I said, I took all the books, threw them all away just about, and made my own handwriting, which empowers you. And
Yeah.
that's what I want to do with
Hmm.
everybody.
Hmm.
We need empowerment on this planet.
We
We
sure do.
don't need, to be subservient,
Yeah.
not anybody anymore.
Wow. So it's interesting that I came across your video because the group that I'm a part of, I'm not sure if you heard of it, is called the Lone Wolf Pack. And
Ooh,
yes, so in this group that I'm a part of, we have been able to learn by our mentor, Patrick, how the birth certificate has been
oh yeah.
created with the all capital name, and that's not even who we are. And
Well, marriage license is the same thing.
yeah,
Marriage license is just a contract that says that the government at any time can take away your children.
yes, all of that, the birth
Oh yeah, I know all
certificate.
about that.
Yep. So it's interesting that it led me right to one of the girls that is in our community, was the one who sent me the video and was like, I think you would have an amazing interview with her because she teaches handwriting and there's control behind this. And I started watching your video and I said, wow, it totally aligns with what we're learning in that Lone Wolf Pack, because
Right,
it's been controlled since the beginning.
right. And now I'm seeing nothing but, I can't watch TV anymore because I also do body language and I watch them unfold their lives right in front of me all the time. And
Wow.
what's really interesting is every one of those politicians does handwriting, cursive, every one of them. And they're all left handed. Your
Wow.
left hand is your spiritual side,
Yeah, I
and your
remember
right
you saying
hand is
that.
your logical. And remember, in school, they wanted you to
So
change from left
left
handed to
hand or
right
right
handed because
hand.
they wanted you to be in that logical mind where they could teach you whatever they needed to teach you and you would believe them when it was all a friggin' lie in the first place.
Wow. So much has been a lie. So much. I mean, they
That's
control
right.
everything, the food, the energy, the water, the money,
Well, I'm
the
also an
court system.
international dowser. Do you know what that is?
I do not. Please elaborate.
Really? You do not? Well, we need to have a private session so I can teach you. But
Okay.
anyway, well, we don't need a private session, but it would be cool.
Okay.
Um, it is like the rods to find water.
Oh,
In the old days, they took willow sticks and they were in a kind of a V like this,
okay.
and they'd hold them, and then they'd go down if there was water there or whatever.
Wow. I know. I'm not even, no. I'm from New
And
Jersey,
then
so I don't even know.
we used to use a pendulum. Well, I still use a pendulum.
Okay.
I can tell, I can go down your chakras without you being here, just with your name, with my pendulum, and get the information out of your chakras that I need because you're either ill or something's
Wow.
happened to you where you have a lot of trauma. A lot
Wow.
of Vietnam people are coming to me, a lot of people from Iraq and Iran, that have been in the service. Bless them. I mean, what we've done to our people is
Yeah.
unbelievable.
It's sad.
But it's happened since the beginning of time.
Yeah, since wow, since the very beginning. So
Yeah.
I can give you my name and you can,
Okay.
okay, yeah, we're doing this on an interview, but let's do it. Hey. All
Okay.
right, are we ready? J
Okay.
I Z E T T E. Gisette.
Okay. It says that you have a tendency to forget things, but that's not a big deal. Okay. So if you want to remember things, it's I. It's the same principle as the T's, 10 across, 5 down. Okay.
Okay.
And if you will do these, it increases your memory by 75%.
Wow. Wow.
Okay. But always dot your I's, dear.
You
Okay.
know, my name has a I. So you know,
I know.
I
So you
guess
got
I
to dot
stopped
it.
dotting my I's.
That's right. You're very open minded.
I am.
That is a blessing, because when I used to go to big conferences, I'd ask the people if their E's were open. And I mean their E's, like I'll show you here real quick. Um, a lot of people that this will give you kind of a hint when you're trying to talk to somebody and you want to know if they're listening to you or not. If all their E's are closed, kind of like this, or
I
kind of
am.
like this, okay, they won't listen to you,
Oh,
nor are they being heard because they're all closed down, but your E's are open
yeah.
and you know another language.
Yes, I do. I do
Yeah,
Spanish.
you,
Hmm.
you sure do.
This is so
And
cool.
you're a powerful, powerful lady. Okay. And you need to remember that, because
I'm working on it.
it'll take you a long way. Cross your T's at the top, and it will really, really help. Now, you have a tendency to wish you had more money. I think we all do.
Yeah, right. Well,
You know,
learning that there is no money though. Right?
well, now let's look at that picture. They're going to bring something in that's going to work for us. It's always going to work for us.
Yeah.
Okay. And just remember, all people are your money.
Yeah.
The way it is.
Yeah.
But on your Y's, whether you print or you write, if you will make this big at the bottom,
Yeah.
okay, it's your money bag.
Oh, look at that.
And you can take it to the bank.
Look at that.
So make it
Wow.
bigger.
Yeah.
It gives you opportunities. It brings in opportunities. It brings in people with money. It brings in people that want to support you. It brings in all kinds of wonderful things.
Wow. That's very interesting. Very
And
interesting.
that's better than saying, well, you have too much imagination.
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard that for my whole life.
Yeah. Well, good. And I'm glad you do. Okay.
Good, right? Amazing. Wow. So, wow, I can't believe you can by somebody's name, you can just tell.
Well, I go into school. This is fun. You
Yeah.
go into school and you say, okay, write down all your friends' names. And they go, why? And I says, because I'm going to tell you if they're good enough for you or not. And they go, how? And I said, well, you have a subconscious mind. You have a conscious mind, a subconscious mind, and a super subconscious mind, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And so that mind knows what it's talking about. When you say, okay, Jerry's my friend, and your mind goes, whoa, whoa, and you get these feelings, well, you should have listened.
Yeah.
But they'll write it down on a piece of paper, and I can see what they subconsciously believe about that person, whether they're listening to themselves or not.
Wow. Oh, I can't wait to send you my handwriting with
I
these
know we're going to
things.
have so much fun.
Oh, man. Interesting. Very interesting.
You
Wow.
betcha.
So I guess let me see if I Got another one. So you there was one that said the handwriting creates chaos that you had
Oh,
said.
yeah. You want to see that one? So
Yeah.
I was in Florida. I'm doing this big conference. And this kid comes over and he sits down beside me and he says, I've been told by my mother I have to come and see you. And I said, okay, can I have your handwriting? And he had a whole page written out and it had this in it. I'm just going to write some of the letters. Oops, I want it backwards. Okay. Have you
Oh,
ever seen that before?
no.
Yeah, a lot of the kids, especially if they're in trouble and it causes chaos, it does cause chaos in your life because you know what it is?
It
It's
looks
a
like,
it's a felon stroke.
oh, a felony.
So I told the kid I tried to be really diplomatic about telling him that he had a felony.
Oh,
But I couldn't figure out any words to be nice because he's a felon.
yeah, yeah,
Have
yeah,
an attitude, you know?
yeah.
And so I said, okay, I'm just gonna straight out tell you. Um, you have felon strokes all over your handwriting. He
Wow.
goes, I said, so when did you get out of prison? And he said, yesterday.
Wow.
And he said, my mom said I had to come and see you. Now we changed all this. We took it off. We adjusted his handwriting, made it look much better. See?
Yeah.
It
It
even
almost looks like
softened.
it's going backwards too with
Right.
the
Which is
E.
in
Yeah.
if it's on your paper, did you know that the paper pictures everything that you draw on, you write on, that the left hand side of the paper when you're looking at it is your past and this over here is your future, this way.
Wow.
Isn't that interesting?
That is.
And so if you
Wow.
write all the way over here, you're hanging out in your past. If you
So
write way over here,
it's
you're ready
interesting.
for the future.
This is interesting you say this because I remember in school writing on a blank piece of paper, no lines, and I would write, my handwriting would be up. Like, and
Good.
how does that even,
Good.
how does that even, like, it was sloppy though, but
No, it
it was
wasn't.
never down. It was always like I write what no lines, I'll write up. If you know what I'm talking, you know what I'm talking about because you're a handwriting analysis. But it was never, yeah, uphill, but never a straight line. So I was like, my life was all
Well,
over.
you probably could never do that even today because you have a positive attitude.
Yeah, yeah. I managed to stay positive through adversity. Right?
Yeah, and even when you're feeling really sad and your handwriting starts to go downhill,
Yeah,
go, no, Casey, don't do that way.
yeah.
Write uphill and it'll bring you right out of it.
Right out of it.
Now, downhill handwriting is anybody that will argue with you.
Oh,
So when you shoot yourself in the foot or whatever, and you're feeling pretty bad about it, your handwriting is going to go downhill.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And it's literally almost like shooting yourself in the foot because it's going straight down. Oh, shit.
So I used to do after prom parties where what they did was they brought all the kids to a shopping center, closed down the shopping center, had this big party for them so that they wouldn't run the streets. And then I'd do handwriting. And this one kid came up to me and he handed me his paper. I handed it back to him. Now, mind you, he was dressed to the hilt. So he had money and you could tell that he was, from a prominent family. And I said, I'm not going to do your handwriting. And he stopped and he went, what? You're not going to do my handwriting?
Oh,
And I said, well, that's one indication why. Because no matter what I say to you, no matter what I do to you, you're going to argue with me.
yeah.
And I do not like to be mistreated. Do you know he turned around and told all of his friends to come to me because I knew what I was talking about.
Wow, look at that. Look at that.
Isn't that
Amazing.
funny? I wonder if he changed his handwriting. I don't know for sure.
Yeah, wow. So I guess before we end this up, first and foremost, I'm so grateful that you were able to find time to do this interview with me. I will be sending you my handwriting. I'm
Thank
excited.
you.
Yes, I'm excited to do this. I'll see if I can get my daughters too and sneak hers in there. Maybe even my sons. We'll try. But so one of the end of the last interview that I watched with you, did you do Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton's handwriting? Were you able to
Yeah.
do that? Wow.
I,
So
you
you're
know, I get
famous.
privy to a lot of handwriting because I'm an analyst
Yeah.
and I'm an international analyst. And so, they're always sending me different handwritings and stuff. And Hillary Clinton is probably one of the most dangerous women in politics today. I don't know how many people she's killed.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
And
it's
Clinton, he's just a patsy, but I'm not saying that he hasn't killed people. And
yeah,
I'm not saying that he didn't do things as they wanted him to do
yeah.
for the betterment of their society, not our society.
Right, right. Yeah. So yeah, you're
But you
able
know
to,
something? We still are in charge,
yeah.
and we always will be.
Yeah, we are. The power's with us, has been us through God, right? Through
You
God.
betcha. You betcha.
Absolutely. I am so grateful. Thank you. And I hope to
You're
do
so
another
welcome.
interview with you sometime soon. And I will make sure in the comments your email is in there for people to reach out to inquire about
Thank you.
your book. Thank you, Polly. You have an
Oh,
amazing.
Casey, thank you. I wish I was there. I'd hug you.
I know.
Okay.
Thank
Blessings
you.
to you, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Bye,
Bye
dear.
bye.